Oh, good morning. Um, Today it's March 17th of 2024. It's almost 10 a.m. in the morning. I moved my computer. I think I mentioned yesterday I moved my computer over to here, where I had it before a lot. I move stuff around a lot. That's not good. I mean, um, but I'm using it again because I moved the stuff over here, and I tried to move it with very few things connected and everything. I moved it over, and something doesn't want to work just from moving it. And I try to keep everything. So anyway, I moved the stuff over here. Very basic. Um, I I don't know. I'd like I'd like to get a new, little bit better computer, but I don't think I can afford it for quite a while. Maybe never. I'm at I'm going to be 83 here in a few days, so I think I've just kind of have to be stuck with what I've got. If you like this shirt, by the way, which I think you will, I've got a whole bunch of T-shirts in the closet, and I think this is the only. Oh, somebody was over the other day, and they saw my closet is over there. Half of the closet has a couple pair of pants, a whole bunch of T-shirts, um, and the rest is filled with cables, computer cables of all different kinds, different lengths. And some of them I probably uh, will never really use, the cables, and I should probably put them someplace, like the, I don't think you can see, yeah, you can, these plastic containers that are back, not the one where there's a laundry basket on top, but there's three, and then there's another one, I think, that's over, I think, back here or someplace. But the cables, I'm always having to go through those cables, and they're wrapped around something else, and I'm just, and I think what I could do is organize that. Some of those things I'm positively not going to use, and I could put them in the closet in the living room, where nobody looks for anything. Um, One thing I've noticed recently with several of my connectors, hang on a second. Might as well use these things as. I'll be back. I have a whole bunch of networking cables in a whole bunch of different lengths. Well, I've got some that are 50 feet that are, it's actually, nailed to the wall, shall we say. Now here's a short one. But you know what I've noticed recently? I don't know when that started, when it happened. These things, they don't plug in and click in, the way they used to. It used to be you push this thing in and it clicks in there, and you're hooked up, and on my computer here, I have this going into, not this one, but a cable like this, but it doesn't click. It doesn't click in. I can't know. I put it in. It doesn't click in. And so if I brush against the network cable that's plugged into my computer here, I'll be sitting here and not, I'm not jumping around or doing anything or whatever, and maybe I walk through there or something or other, and then I see my internet stopped, and then what it is I have to just go and just push it in a little bit. Why doesn't do they have 2 or 3 different? I know they have different cables with the guidelines, and it is supposedly better. And of course, I bought them. Let me show you. Hang on that. Now here, here's a network cable, and I forget the exact, a while back, when I was using 2 monitors, from time to time I use 2 monitors. Right now I'm just using 1, but what was it that I bought? And I've been using 2 monitors for a long time. Often I've used with whole bunch of different monitors and things. I gave a couple monitors away recently, but so what did I can't remember but anyway, somebody, one of you all, I don't remember which one of you. It's something I should set up, maybe, I don't know. I should set a thing up, a little area where when somebody gives me some really good advice. Now, I don't mean good advice like stop drinking Coke, drink water, go out and walk, 5 miles every day, not those kind of things, but where people give me and so I hooked up 2 monitors, and I wanted the maximum out of them, and I bought, and I forget, it might have been 6, but these are 8 networking cables, 8K, and I might have had 6, or was it, they're in the closet there someplace, and I hooked them up, boom, it worked well. One monitor, but the other monitor wouldn't work. And I had a bunch of, cables. But I didn't have these 8K or 6K UHD, And somebody said, oh, what you need to do is have 2 of such and such kind of cables. And so I ordered 4, and better to be, so I ordered in, came in, hooked it up, bang, works great. So these are 2Ks. I'm not using these right now. Right now I'm just using 1. Well, wait a minute, I do have it, I am using one of, I don't think I'd be using I have the 8K, not sure. But that's one thing it would be, there's a lot of things I could do, especially with, I've got videos here from 2005. And I talked the other day about going and taking some of my videos and making them into TikTok, by putting them together, editing them together. I don't like doing editing. If editing were really, now sometimes I've paid, the stuff that I've paid for is unreal. And the amount of, software, but I don't want to, I don't want to go to school. These are computers. They should be doing the work. Instead of me having to go back to school and learn something, they should do it. Maybe with AI, maybe that's something that's here now, and I just don't know about it. Or maybe it's going to be coming. Maybe I can purchase some software, and for editing videos, or even making YouTube videos or something. Maybe I'll be able to, just tell it, and it'll do it for me, change it for me, because I don't want to spend my time, learning that. These are computers. The computers should do that stuff. So now I'm thinking, should I go back to dual monitors or 2 monitors again? I don't know. It depends on what I'm doing. I've had a lot of success because of when I have 2 monitors, and then when I can show both, during a YouTube video or something like that, or when I can switch, from here to my screen. I think I could probably do that now. I think I've changed stuff around enough that I could go ahead and do that again. And although really I think a bunch of you just want to see the video and want me to, hold something up, that I like, a power supply or something. And it doesn't have to be on a separate screen showing, Amazon.com or something. Some of you seem to actually like this type of video. Oh, I think I skipped. Okay. When the eye surgery, I've had one done, and in a few days I'll have the other one done. And the surgical center, says that they would like you to wear a shirt that they can open down the front, and hook up the various things that they hook up. And I have a bunch of, I've lost a lot of weight, by the way, so I have a bunch of pants that almost fall down all the time. But I've got a whole bunch of t-shirts. I like t-shirts. They can have something on it, A political thing's okay with me. I don't want all political things, Harry Truman, well, let's go back, and that type of stuff. But anyway, I looked in my closet. I don't think I had one. This is it. I ordered this. Wasn't too expensive. Got it in like in one day or whatever. And I wore this for my first eye surgery. And I haven't worn it except I'll be wearing this. I just put it on for the video here. I'll be wearing it for my next eye surgery that I have. So, and that's going to be in a few days. Let's see. Okay, I don't have that over here right now. I think it's over there. Hang on, I'm going to switch shirts again and bring that thing over so I can tell you when my next surgery is. I'm over here behind you. Okay. I don't think you can hear my bones cracking. Shoulder bones the worst. Okay. March 20th. What in the world is today? March 20th at the Health Surgical Center, Midtown, Fort Worth. That's it. Man, they have a whole bunch of hospitals here, you know. 2001 West Rosedale. And so that's where I'm going for the... Anyway, I'm scheduled for March 20th. That's 3 days from now. 3 days. There's a whole bunch of stuff you have to remember. And you don't want to be late for surgery. Why am I wearing this hat? Because I need to get in and see the doctor that takes care of skin cancer. I guess he takes care of some other things. Well, what he takes care of is I went in there and had big skin cancer moved off the top of my head. It looks to me like I've got some more places up there. But the times that I went there, the other people that were there were regular customers. I mean, and they, they're sitting over there in the waiting room, talking to each other because they know each other. And okay, I had something taken away here, and he did here, and then he did here. Yeah, I had whatever. Oh, come on, please, But skin cancer is something you do need to take care of, and I put it off. And there again, I had several of you saying, just from watching a video, Jim, you need to have that, you need to have that checked. And, but I don't want to be going to the doctor's office. I don't want that to be my life, but I guess if you don't take care of somebody, it's going to be your death. So, I've got these 2 eyes I need to take care of. They're, they'll be done here hopefully in a week or something like that. Well, maybe a little bit longer, because then you have to go in and be fitted for glasses, But then I think I need to get in and see a bunch of doctors. Some of them I'm not going to get in to see. I've lost a lot of weight, and my doctor tells me, are you trying to lose weight? No. Then why are you losing weight? And Jim, that when we see something like the amount of weight that you have lost, and you're not trying to lose weight, we think cancer. And so, but I don't want to be going to the doctor every, I have to go once a year, just once a year for the heart doctor, because I've got this thing hooked up here that if something happens, And then once a year I go to his office, and they do the same thing. They hook me up with basically the same equipment that tells them the same thing. And that's okay. I mean, I needed the pacemaker. I need the pacemaker, and of course the skin cancer I need it. But it's just so. I'm not really enthused by it. The guy. It's just like, he brought out his one of his tools, and then turned it on, and there's like a blast of fire coming out of it, or something. And then of course he had a glove on, he has a glove on, and he goes on his hand, I knew what he was doing, he's showing me it's not going to hurt, and he's just doing it on his hand there. Well, I don't have a glove on my head or something else, and I forget where he did that, and I knew, okay, fuck, he's demonstrating that this shouldn't concern me at all. I shouldn't worry about it at all. And so then I just go into my, okay, no matter what, I will endure. And then I forget where he moved it from. And then he did his thing, and then he says, you didn't move at all, And I didn't say, well, I know what you were trying to do is make me think that it was perfectly safe and it wasn't going to hurt and I wasn't going to scream. And so I just decided, to play this game, although the odds are in his favor, But I got, of course I'm, a few days here I'm going to be 83. And you're going to see I've got a bunch of doctors they want me to see that I haven't seen yet. They're on my list. If I can stop seeing these other doctors, then I can, add them to my list. So I'm going to buy more of those. I think it was like $18 for that shirt that I showed you. A button-down short sleeve shirt. I think I'll buy, a couple more because I do like the look of that. I'm tired of the, Although I think, these, what is it? Father of Cats or something, or there's some neat ones. I've got an Obama one, but I'm in Texas when Obama was president. I don't think it's safe to wear it, especially out at night. Walking down to the Walgreens or to go over to get some donuts or something like that. I really don't think it's safe walking. I don't have a car. Walking out there wearing an Obama shirt. So I'll probably pick up another t-shirt or a shirt that buttons down the front. But I only used that one for the one surgery, and I'll go ahead and use it for the second surgery, of course. The surgery is it's not bad. The eye surgery I'm talking about. Oh, I need to put this hat on so you don't spend your time looking at I don't want to see it, so why should, you know? It's really not bad, the eye surgery, although I've always had a thing about anybody getting close to my eyes, you know, freak me out or whatever. But when I go, what they do is, you know, I have to have somebody drive me and, you know, take me back. Not because I don't have a car, well, I have to have somebody to, so I don't fall down, or somebody who, you know, they're going to medicate me a little bit, and so whatever, so I got to have somebody take me in. But anyway, they put you down in the room, and the room is pretty much filled up because they're going to do, you know, they're going to start an IV on your hand. I used to have nurses for 30, I worked hospital security for 30 years, and nurses would say, "Wow, Jim, you've got the greatest veins, that's going to be wonderful," you know, whatever. And then at a certain age, boom, where are my arteries? But anyway, when I go to the for the eye surgery, I go in and have to have somebody waiting for me. So they may lay me down with a whole bunch of other, of course there's a curtain around all of us. I don't know how many people, 20 there, and, you know, or more. And so they got a nurse that comes over occasionally and puts the eye drops in your, you know, you're laying there. And the eye drops do burn. And they do it quite a bit in order to, whatever they're doing to it, deadening it or something. And so they do that. You're laying there and drop in your eyes, and that kind of burns. And then they start an IV on you, and they have to start it in my hand, because I've mentioned this before, just to show you, you know, worked at this one hospital for about 10 years, part of a chain. But I was out there for about 10 years, a small hospital in the town where I lived. And we were all friends, you know, we all knew each other's families, and it was really nice. Nice 10 years that I worked there. And, but when I started, there was an LPN, licensed practical nurse, an older one. And, well, when they started, they had an RN and an LPN in the emergency room. And then the RN nurses started saying, you know, well, we need 2 RNs here, you know, because the LPN can't do a couple things, you know, whatever. But, and eventually they did go to strictly 2 RNs. But the one LPN was kind of elderly, real nice older lady, you know, nice one. But so they started out, okay, the LPN had to be able to start an IV. And so then, and then the other nurses were asking, you know, have you got your certificate? You know, I think you have to stick somebody 6 times, start an IV or something, something like that. Maybe it was slightly more than that. And I could tell that the older nurse, the LPN, that she was concerned, worried that she was going to lose her job, you know. So this one nurse, the RN working, you know, said, I forget let's say Mary, you know, the RN said, Mary, have you got your last stick yet that you need, you know, to be certified? And she said, no, I got only one more to go, you know. So I turned to the LPN. I said, Diane, does she have to do it on a patient, or, you know, could she just do it to me now, and would that get her certified? And Diane said, sure. So well, she heard, you know, and she was, you know, I said, come on over, and she stuck me right away, and then she was, you know, she was happy. But like when I collapsed when I had my heart thing down at Walgreens at about 9 p.m., just before they closed at 9 p.m. at night, I walked down there and went a few years, so it's okay, it's been about 12 years, I think, since I had that first thing, which I'd never had anything like that before. I went in, and when I went down there about 2 blocks away at about 9 p.m., just before they closed, as I was walking through the parking lot, I thought, God damn, I feel like Superman. I feel like I could jump over Walgreens. I thought, and my son had bought some expensive, one for him, a big bottle of vitamins, multivitamins or whatever, and he bought the same one for me, and I took them. And then I used to, off and on, I would take, I'd buy the kids, ones that you can chew up or whatever, vitamins. And I would, after I'd take quite a few of them, I mean, not multiple, only one a day, I would feel pretty good. I'd feel good. And then for some reason, when I ran out, maybe I want to punish myself or something, when I used them up and I felt really good and thought, those vitamins must really work well, It'd be months before I'd get around to buying another, bottle of vitamins. So I don't know what's wrong with me. But anyway, I was walking down to the Walgreens, walking across the parking lot. I was thinking, that must be those vitamins that my son, got for me. Because, man, I feel great. I went in and got the cart, put a couple bottles, 2-liter bottles of Coke in it, and probably a bag of candy or something. Started towards the front, and then bang, I'm on the floor looking up, at the cashier. And I said, what happened? And she said, you fainted. And I said, I've never fainted in my life. She said, well, you fainted. She said, we called 911. And I said, I'll call my grandson, have him walk over here and walk back home with me. And she said, okay. But, and then I tried to get up, and I had trouble getting up. And then the fire station is 2 blocks away from, I told it was 2 blocks, their fire station is right next to outside our apartment exit gate or whatever is where their fire station is. So anyway, the 2, not the paramedics, but the 2 firefighters, they showed up right away. And they said, can we, I said, well, I can just walk on home. And the fireman said, well, can I hook you up? And I said, sure, And so they hooked me up. I was a little disoriented too because I forget what he said, 24 or something like that. And I said, I forget what I said. I said, is that my pulse rate, or what is that? And he said, that's your heart rate. And I said, I need to go to the hospital, don't I? And he said, yeah, you do. And then the paramedics showed up, and then they hooked me up. And they caught the cardiac activity, which a lot of times they don't. When something like that happens, a lot of times you have something like that, and you faint or whatever it is, but you don't get the thing. You go to the hospital, and the paramedics will say, such and such or whatever. And then the doctors the cardiologist will decide that you need to be hooked up to a thing that you wear at home until they see something. But with me, the cardiologist, that night said, well, he said, it's unusual, but the paramedics caught, he said, normally, we put you on a cardiac monitor and that type of stuff, but you're going to need a pacemaker put in you. So, of course, admitted me overnight to make sure, and that kind of stuff. So I ended up with a pacemaker. I'm on my 2nd pacemaker. So anyway, I'm going to buy a new shirt, another one. So I have a couple. I may stop buying t-shirts and start getting because they look better on me. Maybe because the others are kind of old. I got a nurse. I've at that small hospital I told you about, there was an elderly nurse that she raised, I think, 5 boys. Anyway, she was divorced, elderly nurse. She raised 5 boys, and without her husband, and she put them all through college. They all 5, and then she had 3 daughters, I think it was, and I think all 3 of them, I know the boys did. I think all 3 of the girls also went to college. And anyway, in the beginning when I came out there, the hospital had just been opened up, but they'd been there a little bit, before they got security in there. And I went out there, and Virginia was like, she was like watching me to see if I was going to do something inappropriate, and, say something racist or, whatever. And she didn't like police officers, and police officers didn't like her, because the police would bring somebody in, especially if it was a young person, handcuffed or something, and then she'd say, "Can you take those handcuffs off?" And I think most of the time the police would just go ahead and do it, So she was very suspicious of me, and then after a while we became best buddies, So so much so that she started. One of the things I said out at that small hospital, and I didn't say that at the other, my depends on where I am, but I'd say, okay, you need to leave the waiting room, go, or you need to leave them, go over to the waiting room. You stay in the waiting room, and I'd walk them over occasionally, stuff like that. And then when they'd come back or whatever, then I'd have to tell them something like a waiting room or jail. I said that a lot. Now, I couldn't arrest somebody for not going to the waiting room when I said go to the waiting room, but I could give them a trespass warning, and they would go to jail, but I'd say waiting room or jail. And Virginia, this older nurse, I came into work on weekends. We didn't have any security during the daytime, and so I'd come in at 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, and I'd come in. Sometimes the place would be a disaster area, and so this one guy was over. 2 guys were over at the I was saying waiting room or jail a lot, but anyway, these 2 guys were over giving the ER secretary or whatever. And the one guy, I forget exactly what it was, like, what's your name? Donald Duck. No, sir, please, I need your name. Mickey Mouse. So then I went over, and I said, okay, you got a choice. You can give the information, or you can hit the road, or I'll throw your ass out, on that was it, yeah. I love that film. So anyway, I said my way or the highway, and there was a highway right in front of the hospital, But anyway, I came in, I think that was the time I came in, and they needed me in ICU. There was a combative person there, all kinds of, but anyway, so I took care of the things that needed to be taken care of, and as I was going downstairs, I heard Virginia, as I was approaching the emergency room, I heard Virginia say, waiting room or jail, to somebody. she'd copy, so I went over there and, I said, Virginia, those are copyrighted. I have I've copyrighted those. You can't use that. You're using my stuff now. She laughed, We became really good friends. But how did I get on that subject? Oh, and we usually work with, of course, their schedules kind of changed a little bit, but we usually worked, and we worked with the same people, so I enjoyed working with them, and they enjoyed working with me. What was see, it wasn't, I can't remember now what it was. Anyway, well, 40 minutes, that's long enough. I hope the video is okay and the audio is okay. Thank you for watching.